and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me for another one of my videos today. So I've grabbed a cup of tea. We're gonna have a sit down chat today. I asked over on Instagram some topics of, things you want me to cover on my YouTube channel. And when I read this one, I thought it was a great topic, which I don't think I've actually really covered in massive depth. So it's a bit more of a businessy / career / purpose video for you today. And it comes from just_Sorks. And she said career related, especially in regards to leaving unemployment, which I'm sure she means employment, unless, because you don't really leave unemployment, like you get a job, right? So I presume she means leave employment and earning what you're worth. So interesting topic, right? And this is absolutely a conversation I've had with so many people in my life, friends, people I know, like peers, literally clients. This conversation has actually come up so much in the last few weeks, ironically. So when I saw that, I was like, right, universe, I hear you, let's film the video. So for those of you who don't know much about my background, I've been self-employed for, over 8 years now with 2 six-figure businesses, one which I sold 3 years ago. And before that, I worked in a bank and did various other employed roles in marketing, in banking, in sales, marketing, and I had a lot of targets. A lot of the roles I did were target based. So that's more about my past. So when did I know it was the right time to leave my employed job? So at the time, I would go along the timeline of my life. It was 8 years ago, obviously, and I was working part-time in a clothes shop in a retail store at the time, just because I'd left the bank by that point. I was miserable, and I'd already started up Extreme Couponing and Deals UK at that point. So I had no idea it was going to earn money. I actually ran that business for a whole year and didn't earn a single penny because I didn't know I could. So literally for a whole year, I could have earned all this money, and I had no idea until, and I've said this story many times, I think on here and in interviews, about how a lovely, lovely man on Facebook, who I am certain to this day is still a guardian angel, showed me how to monetize and affiliate my Extreme Couponing business. And then he disappeared off the face of the earth when I wanted to thank him and send him something to say thank you. Never to be found again. And even to this day, like when I look through the messages on my Facebook, like the profile is deleted, the business is deleted, everything. It was so weird. But I always say, like, that definitely was like an angel experience where I had, a guardian angel looking out for me, someone who was completely selfless and completely, genuine and had amazing interests at heart to be able to teach a random stranger how to monetize their business. So I am so grateful for that man, wherever he may be. And the truth is, there was really no strategy as such as to when I was like, right, I want to go full time with this. Obviously, once I'd monetized it, I was earning, really good amounts of money with the business. This was the couponing side of things. So for me, I was like, well, it makes sense because I've got that financial security now. It's there. I know what I'm doing. I really enjoy this. I hated my retail job, and my dad had run his own businesses anyway, so obviously he was quite good in terms of like accounting and like just helping with all the kind of serious business things that come with running a business. But that's how I transitioned into being self-employed. So I was self-employed for 1 or 2 years, and then I went limited with the company, which is exactly what I did with this business. Was self-employed for a while and then went limited. So there's loads of different things that obviously you can consider, and I'm not saying like everybody go limited. Like, speak to your accountants, speak to your advisors. They are the ones who can tell you. There used to be so many more benefits with going limited. Nowadays there isn't many. It's just more financial security against your business. But again, this is not like a video on like how to set up your business, right? So if you are thinking, and again, I hear this conversation so much, like so many people in my life have come to me with this conversation. They're like, I'm in employment, but I really want to be self-employed. And, I've got a few friends who are graphic designers. I've got people who want to change careers, completely do a 180 to what they're doing. Some people who just want to take their trade and go self-employed. So I've literally seen a whole like bag of different examples and scenarios, with my friendships and people around me who are having that. And I think because they see what I've been able to do and they want that freedom as well. And a lot of the time they're not happy in their job, or, things aren't great, etc. Or maybe they want more financial freedom or more creative reign, for example. So really, to tie this into purpose, is if you are happy in your job where you are and things are good and you're happy, you're content, you probably don't need to watch this video, because that is a sign in itself. There is so much hype in the self-development sphere of like, find your purpose, live your purpose, what's your purpose? And I'm really lucky that I did find my purpose really young. You know, and my kind of pathway to finding my purpose. And I still think purpose is an ever evolving thing. Like, I look into how much I've achieved in the 4 years I've had my spiritual business, and even the 8 years I had, you know, both businesses. And I've been able to achieve so much that I'm like, okay, Em, you're 27 years old. What are you going to do for the rest of your life, babes? Like, you know, what are the things that really you want to do? And I already know that there's like, you know, I'm still always going to do this because I love this. And it really is my purpose to share this with you guys. But there's also other facets to that purpose. So I always think we have like an inner purpose, like a soul purpose. We have like, you know, a fulfilling purpose, which is obviously like to give, to serve the world, whether that's work, career, charity work. You know, we have that kind of purpose. And I think, you know, we have ever evolving purposes as well, because as we achieve those things, you know, just like with a healing journey, just like with any journey, we're always evolving and growing, right? So it's definitely more of a journey rather than just like a boom, you wake up and you find your purpose, there you go, just do it and all is well. Like, definitely that can happen. But for me, that it didn't happen that way. And I very rarely see it happen that way. Like, you definitely should always go towards things you feel drawn to, things that really spark your creativity or spark your, you know, your inner fire, your joy. For some people, it may be hobbies that they're like, actually, I really want to do this. Maybe it is your career. Maybe you have skills and talents. A bit like my friend who's a graphic designer who wants to then, you know, go into self-employment as such. So you may have those skills, you may not have those skills or knowledge base right now. You can learn things, like there's a whole array of situations, right, of different positions you can be in. But ultimately, and Gary Vee is a massive preacher of this. Obviously, I didn't find Gary Vee at this stage in my life when I was finding my purpose. But I see Gary Vee talk a heck of a lot on social media to so many young kids, whether they're 18, 20, early 20s, even my age, mid to late 20s, heading towards 30. And I think especially when you're in your 30s and you're kind of breaching that late 20s, 30s, you're like, oh my God, I'm an adult now. I have to do adult things. Like, what the heck is my purpose? And obviously 27 to 30, you go through your Saturn return, which again is getting you to your purpose and like evolving you to that more mature years of your life. So then, you know, you're in your adult years where it's then like, right, what is my purpose here? So a lot of the time you find Saturn returns can really trigger that up for people as well. So with that, it's really about trusting, you know, trusting yourself and trusting the journey here. You know, as Gary Vee says, like, he said to even like people my own age of like, you've got the rest of your blooming life, like calm down. Like, he didn't find his purpose, I don't think, until his 30s. I'm sure he said his 30s. And you know, he said that you've got your whole life to figure this out. Like, people want like a 6-7 figure business by the time they're 22, but he's like, it just doesn't work like that sometimes. And sometimes people are really lucky and they have that idea, they have that creativity, they have that innovative idea that really does propel them. Again, I was, you know, incredibly lucky that my business was the first of its kind, my couponing business, meaning it profiled it so well when couponing and discounts really took off here in the UK. So it was opportunity. And a lot of the time, what I notice in myself with other entrepreneurs I work with, and even people like Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, like all these people I follow, you know, they say a lot of it is opportunity, and a lot of it comes down to luck, opportunity, and timing. And it really, really does. So I think, you know, if you are in your young 20s and you're watching this, like, please don't feel like you're behind. And even if you're in your 30s and you're watching this, please don't feel you are behind based upon what I'm doing or what anybody's doing. The timing of your life is correct for where you need to be right now. And the job that you're in, the experiences that you're having are all teaching you valuable things to be able to start that business or to be able to transition to self-employment when it feels good to. And I think as well, like, there's so much glamorization of running your own business online, which of course there are so many perks to that. Like, I'm always someone who keeps it real. And the biggest advice I give my business clients is like, do not transition into self-employment until you have financial security, because there is nothing worse than putting yourself in financial strain to be like, I'm just going to manifest, like, I'm just going to quit my job, start this business, I know nothing about it, I'm going to train in it, hope for the best, and manifest all these clients in month 1. Please do not believe that works. Like, again, that's not a mindset thing, that's not a limiting belief. Like, with anything in our life, you know, something you want to last as well. Like, even if we used a relationship as an example here, if you had a romantic relationship and you were like rushing into things and you were like, yeah, you know, I'm just gonna throw everything to the air and just take all these big risks, like, yeah, it could work. Absolutely, it could work. But also, if you want solid foundations and, you know, sustainability in a business, it has to be sustainable, and sustainability comes with solid foundations. And I know Gary Vee and so many other business coaches would agree with me here of, it is not a one-hit wonder. You do not want to be an overnight success, because an overnight success drops. You have the high and then you have the drop. You want to be here for a lifetime. You want to be consistent, have sustainability, and be here for a lifetime, right? Have lifetime success, lifetime abundance, lifetime prosperity, not a short, quick fire which isn't sustainable. And ask yourself, would you truly be ready for that? Like, I've said this question to people. If you were to get the followers you want or the money you want, literally right here, right now, I'll wave that wand. Would you be able to sustain that? Would you be able to cope with that demand? Whatever your business is, whether it's something similar to me, coaching, whether it's products, whatever it is, would you be able to physically cope with the demand if you were to have everything you wanted now? No, you wouldn't, is the answer. You want to be able to build up to it, right? You want to ease into it, feel into it, and build up to it. You know, you want to feel confident and comfortable in what you're doing. And the best way to do that is sustainable growth, is sustainable business. And I think the reality that many people don't speak about with going self-employed or starting a business is that very thing, is sustainability and the blood, sweat and tears that go into a business. Like, yes, we can all manifest with ease, we can affirm things flow to us with ease, of course. But just like with anything, you have to take inspired action, and things like growing social media, getting your presence out there, getting clients, whatever kind of form of industry you're looking at here. Again, we're in COVID. Is now really the right time to make that transition? You know, if you had, for instance, a business that could be online, which is very in demand over COVID, yeah, you probably would find that that would be a great idea, a great time to maybe transition to that. Maybe if you're furloughed, or maybe you've got that extra time on your hands, or maybe you want to train or learn something while we've got this extra time. But if, for instance, your idea or business was something that was reliant on people, or, you know, being able to travel or go places, etc., then would that be the right time to change? Probably not, because, you know, that industry might be suffering. For example, my friend's got a wedding dress business. So if you were like having a wedding dress business, do you know what I mean? Is now the right time to really just throw caution to the air? You know, put yourself in financial like worry for a wedding dress business? Well, no, because nobody's getting married right now, for example. So even things like that is so important to consider, because if the industry is not thriving during COVID, you do not want to do that right now. So sit tight with it. You know, that divine timing will happen, and ease into it as well. There is nothing wrong. Like, I have people in my life who are like alongside their full-time job starting to get clients on the self-employed down low side of things. You know, they are trying to build that regular client base so that they have that consistency. And that's what I did. That is truthfully what I did. I continued working at retail until I had enough money to go full-time, and then took the leap because I had the security already there, and it felt good to do so. So I could give my full energy to that. And then with transitioning from couponing to this business, I did exactly the same thing. And until this business earned enough money to sustain me and obviously give me my full-time income, I did not sell that business. And obviously it was all divine timing, because I didn't have a buyer at that time anyway, so I couldn't just give it up, and I knew I wanted to sell the business. So I transitioned where I basically dedicated, I think it was like 45 minutes only to my couponing business every single day, apart from weekends. And then rest of the day was dedicated to the spiritual business. So I was putting my energy into what I wanted, but I was also not being stupid and not giving up my bread and butter to put myself in financial jeopardy or strain. And then, you know, when people were going to come to buy that business, they need, you know, the business needs to be doing well. I couldn't just not do it and let it, you know, suffer and then be like, oh, do you want to buy this suffering business? No, that didn't work. So I had to do it. I had to do it until I got to a point where the business was obviously being sold and I was earning enough money to be able to be sufficient in this business. So please don't put yourself through unnecessary stress. There is plenty of time to do all of this. Please let me reassure you, there is plenty of time to do this. The fact you're having those urges or those pulls to look for a different, you know, path in life or purpose, great, explore those. And if you're watching this and you're like, I don't even know what I could do as a business, you know, everybody has a place in life, everybody has a purpose. For some people it is running your own business, for some people it is working for those businesses, and both answers are perfectly okay. Some people don't want to be their own boss, so please don't feel pressured if you don't want to do that. Some people really want to be their own boss, and again, if that feels good to you, why not do it? Of course. So, you know, again, I think it's remembering, like, don't get into a comparison trap here of what other people are doing or what you feel you should be doing. As I write about in my book, Positively Wealthy, you know, what is your true version of wealth? Are your goals, or are they someone else's version of wealth and goals that you think you should be doing because everybody else is doing it? And you know, again, like a lot of people in the spiritual path, for example, they will read my story, they'll read numerous other people's stories and then think, well, a life coach is the only thing they can do to you know, to spread spirituality into the world, which is not true. There are so many different tools, modalities, therapies, so much you can do. So have that time to explore. And I would really encourage you to do a vision board as well, like whether you want to do a mind map or a vision board, and explore what you feel your purpose is. What ignites your soul? What feels good? How do you want to help people? What is your why? Why do you want to help people? Why is your business or idea needed in the world? What space is your business filling? What gap is your business filling, and what is the demand? So, you know, like who is your target audience? Who are the types of people you'd want to work with or attract? Or, you know, if you want to create products, like what sort of products you want to create? Like, look into all these things. And I always say, like, doing things like that is really practical because it is, you know, taking inspired action. It's getting you excited, and it's also getting you clearer and clarity on what you can do moving forwards. Of, is this the time to do it now? Do I need to wait? Do I need to like do these alongside one another to create that stability to be able to transition and just take that big leap of faith? Like, it is a big leap of faith. Business is a big leap of faith. And again, there are no certainties with it. You know, employment obviously brings a lot of financial security and a lot of securities in general, whether it's, you know, things like pensions, whether it's, you know, things like that. There are a lot of things that obviously do have, there are lots of perks to employment, but also there are lots of perks to self-employment and running your own business, because the possibilities of earning are endless, right? But that doesn't mean that every month, you know, could always be amazing. You might have months where you're quiet. You have to be really savvy with your money to obviously, you know, if you're investing in products or investing in stock or investing in training, etc., you know, you want to be savvy with all of this. And, you know, very often, Gary Vee will say this as well, the first year of business, you're most likely going to be at a loss because of equipment you're buying or expenses or things to operate and run and set up the business, websites, all of these wonderful things. So again, my number one tip is make sure you have that financial backing. Now, I started my extreme couponing business £7,000 in debt. So I was an exception with that. So it definitely can be done if you have zero money to your name, definitely, or if you have debt. But again, I did everything on a budget. I didn't need to invest any money. I started it off as a Facebook page. Then when the time came and it was earning money, I created a website. So again, everything was done in stages. Everything was done on the budget. At the time, the boyfriend I was with was a website designer. So again, I got that for free. So again, everything was like haggled, coupon, discounted, very ironic of the company. Until I could afford to have proper websites done, until I could afford to then invest in computers I needed or cameras I needed for YouTube. You know, I had to start somewhere, and I think that's what you really need to remember. You have to start somewhere. You don't have to just go in with all the up-to-date technology, all the stuff you need, all the qualifications, everything like that. Nobody does that. Please remind yourself, nobody does that, because you never can be like 100% ready for these things, you know? Like, sometimes you have to learn on the job. So definitely I would say like all my own graphic designing skills, my social media skills, the very things I put in my business coaching with my clients, and what I'm saying to you now is through experience, is through learning on the job and pushing myself to learn these things, because I didn't have the money to go and pay for websites. I didn't have the money to go and pay for graphic designers and stuff. I did it. And now we're really blessed because there's so many great websites like Canva, and, you know, so many great ways of really easy Photoshop tools, because hell, I never got used to Photoshop and I still haven't today. So Canva is like a godsend, right? So definitely check out Canva if you haven't heard of it before, or you're like, what is this? It is gonna change your life. You're welcome. It is gonna change your life. You are welcome. So in terms of the second part to that question of knowing your worth and what to charge, again, that is a whole different topic and a very, I would say, more complex topic to explain, because obviously I don't know what your business is, I don't know what you're doing. There is no one shoe fits all. But in terms of working on your worth, you know, like in my sessions with people, I do work through, okay, like let's go through these points. How much do you feel you should be charging? Right, let's work out this, this, and this. And that's normally how you find your pricing, but you got to start somewhere. So start with what feels good. But in terms of worth, like that's self-development. In terms of knowing your worth and being like, right, here's my price point, here's, you know, regardless of your industry, right? Here's my price point, here's how I'm showing up, you know, it has to be worth your time, right? So you don't want to equally go too high as a new business, especially in a pandemic, especially in, you know, an economic crisis as well. You know, be mindful of the times. I mean, you could be watching this when we're out of COVID and it's all groovy. So be conscious of the times, your experience, so obviously what experience you have in your trade, in your industry, in your skills, etc., your qualifications, your accreditations, like all of these things come into the mix of knowing your worth is an inside job of do some self-development. I've got tons of videos, podcasts and blogs on self-worth and knowing your worth. But a lot of the time in terms of money and pricing, it's not, self-worth comes into it, of course, but it's actually some different factors as well based upon, like I said, the climate you're in, the industry you're in, the experience you've got, and what feels good to you at the end of the day. So to summarize, only you are going to know if it is the right time for you to stay employed or go self-employed. There is no right or wrong answer here. And there is always plenty of time to do all of this. Like for me, it was just like a hell yes. I was like, this makes sense. I have that financial security. This feels good. So there wasn't really a question in my mind. But if you're questioning it and you're like, I don't know what the next step is, Emma, give me the next step, sit with it. Sometimes doing nothing is the very thing you need to do. Sometimes doing nothing can bring the very answers that you need. So relax into it, you know, be grateful for the opportunities and the employment you have now, the money, the income that you have coming in, and explore it. Do the mind map, do the vision board, explore your very ideas and say, right, is this really what I want to do? And maybe it could be a 5-year plan. It doesn't have to be a now plan. You know, the very experiences you're going through now could really shape that way, like it did for me with couponing. Couponing was not my purpose, but helping people to feel better was. So it started off with couponing and then obviously went into what I do now. So it doesn't mean that your purpose can't evolve. It doesn't mean that you can't do other stuff, which is also going to add to that purpose. Like, trust your path. Do what feels good in every single moment. If you're not happy with where you are, you have the power to change that, and only you can do that. But be sensible with it. Don't put yourself in financial jeopardy. Don't put yourself under unnecessary stress. You just don't need to do that. And if you are certain that you do want to transition into self-employment, look at how you can then filter your trade and filter, you know, your skills. If you need to learn stuff, you know, take the action to do that. But equally as well, like, how can you build up a client base alongside your current job to have that support, have that sustainability, and, you know, those foundations, because you need foundations. You can't just give it all up and be like, right, where's the money, where's the clients? You know, you need to have that already there. So you could work on building your social media in the interim. You could build on a website. You could build on many things. There are so many things you can do now to help yourself and to get yourself so much closer to being able to quit that job now instead of starting in 6 months' time. So even if you just do small things each and every day to work towards that purpose, or maybe it's setting intentions with the universe, maybe it is exploring, is this actually just a job change I need, or is this actually, I do want to go self-employed and I really do want to follow that dream? Again, only you have that answer. So sit with it and allow the universe to guide you. We're out of Mercury retrograde now, so hopefully some clarity has come into your life, because Mercury retrograde is known for obviously throwing us all off course and having confusion and delays and like, what am I doing? So hopefully now we're out of Mercury retrograde, those answers are going to feel more clearer and that path is going to seem more clearer for you as well. But asking is the best way. Not sure what to do next? Ask the universe or your angels or whatever to guide you, like bring those opportunities to you. What do you need to be doing right now? And trust your intuition. Your intuition knows. You know the answer. You've just got to have the courage to sometimes take that leap of faith and the courage to say, right, even if I can't go head on in, all in, yes, what can I do now to start that ball rolling? What can I do now to work towards that goal? And you know, some things, like even though I do in this business now, I'll work towards stuff, I'll put energy into stuff, and then I'm like, nope, don't want to do that anymore. And that in itself is fine too, because we change, we grow, we evolve, and those things that are, you know, projects I was doing still are important, still contribute and still teach me things. So again, like, even trust the things you're going through now, the job you're in now, etc., is all contributing to your purpose. Like, you just need to be open enough to receive that intuitive guidance, and again, just aware enough of comparison, that you know, people feel like they have to be they have to be somewhere or be something by a certain age, and it's like, well, actually, you've got your whole life. And a really good story of this, I know I'm making this video so long, is my mum, for example. So my mum was a nurse in the NHS for, gosh, like 30 years, ages, or maybe it was 20 years, maybe I'm aging my mother unnecessarily here. I think it was like 30 years. Yeah, so about, we'll say like 25, 30 years. And she was a nurse, and obviously everybody knew my mum as the nurse. She loved nursing, she loved everything she did. Then as soon as she hit her 50s, she was like, I'm retiring early and I'm gonna start a candle business. And we were like, what? Like, where has this come from? And I generally was like, okay, like, my mum has never done anything like this before in her life. Like, me and dad are obviously entrepreneurs, savvy, like, she's been surrounded by us for years, so obviously she's got the best people around her, right? And me and dad were like, this is like the craziest thing we've ever heard her say. And here we are 3 years later, 3 years later, she's got a successful candle business and she's doing awesome. She is doing awesome. And you know, she's built it herself, she's learnt social media, she's done everything. And that was in her 50s. That was in her 50s as she was retiring. So again, like, don't think you're ever too old for something. Like, don't think you're ever too young, because again, I can talk on the young side of things. I found my purpose and became self-employed at 22 years old, 21, 22. And on the flip side, my mum found that and went self-employed in her 50s. So there is no like right or wrong time. Like, trust the timing in your life, and trust that those opportunities will come up at the right time to be able to facilitate you taking that leap when it feels good. So if it doesn't feel good, listen to that. If it does feel good, then listen to that as well. So thank you so much for your topic suggestions, and obviously please do keep them coming in, because I really want to create videos which obviously you want, and obviously which, you know, feel current to you as well, of, you know, things that can help you here and now. So please do let me know in the comments if you'd like a video on a certain topic or something, or a question. Please do let me know, and I will cover as many as I can. So thank you so much, guys, for watching my YouTube video. I appreciate all your views and likes. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, because I would love to see you again soon. Don't forget, you can also join my free Law of Attraction support group over on Facebook, where you can join myself and other like-minded souls, where we talk all things Law of Attraction and spirituality. I hope you have a great week, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you all in my next video, which will be next week. Lots of love, guys.